Hi, this is Cheryl for Bear's Pampered Stampers. I have another really fun lawn fawn die to show you today. It's called the Mini Pop-Up Box, and this is what it does. How fun is that? Yay! So all our friends, the little characters that we put on the tiny gift box, we can now put on the inside of a card. By the way, you could always put them on the outside of a card. But I love how they pop up inside and give fun messages to the card recipient. Again, it's from Lawn Fawn, so it's super, super, super easy to do. So what I want to do is show you the basics of how the mini pop-up box die is assembled and how it works, how you install it, and that sort of thing. I'll show you a couple of cards, including a little bit more about the Froggy card. And then I'll put together one with a bunny box from start to finish, so you'll see just how easy it is to complete the entire thing. So here's the star of our show. This is the mini pop-up box die. It has a lot of different pieces. They are in stock at Bear's, I'll say that right now. So you've got the box piece that sort of goes all the way through here. It cuts and scores what you need to create that basic pop-up, and then it can be decorated in any one of a number of ways. The other dies that are with it are just sort of companion dies. These are some little signposts that you can use with a banner die for a message. So that's what I used for my Totally Awesome here. There's several of these little curly cues hanging around. Their job is just to decorate. So imagine a birthday box that's just filled with, for example, balloons and streamers and that sort of thing. You can make some really fun cards with this set. These two pieces are support beams. They're two different ones and they give different positioning. I've used this shorter, straighter one here to hold my Totally Awesome sign. If I used the longer one, it would actually wrap around the three sides of the box, and we'll see that in just a minute with our little basic fake box. Sorry. The first couple of times when you use these cards, you have to kind of guide the folding in order to keep things from bending you don't want to bend. There's several different hearts and stars that you can decorate. This little rectangle here can be used to decorate the sides of the box. So these panels here, the oval is kind of fun. You could put a little sentiment on that. Again, it fits perfectly on one of the sides of the box. So there's a lot that's here in addition to that basic box. So let's take a look at it. You need to have a card. So I have just a plain white card here. There's no magic about that. And I cut out a few of the pieces. There's our box. And I'll show you it's got a lot of score lines on it. So we'll be folding on that. I've got the two support. Hang on, I'm just going to dump this for a second and get these pieces out. Maybe not smart to put them in. Okay. I've got the support beams, and for whatever reason, I thought I needed two sets, so I cut two. So they go one on either side, and actually that's correct. The banner die, I haven't put anything on this because this is just a fake card we're doing here. And then here's our other internal support beam. These both have score lines on them as well. So this one is really hard to see, but you fold it in two places, right there at the end and right there. Hang on, I'm going to get rid of the extra pieces because you don't need to see those and get confused. And then our longer support beam We're going to fold in the ends like the other, but this also has a fold in the middle. And so that's kind of how it folds up. We'll set those aside for a minute while we put together the box. Again, you have a pretty straightforward design. So we're going to start at one end of the box and keep folding along. When I'm doing this, again, especially if I'm using a heavier cardstock, I'm trying to watch to make sure that my box remains square, that I'm folding straight lines, and I haven't popped up a little bit on one side or the other. I still am not feeling the need for a bone folder, but you could use that if it makes you more comfortable. And then the last part is this little tab here. We're going to go to the bottom, and our two big triangles, we're going to fold in. So just like that. And then we're going to reverse course where we folded everything in. These top little rectangles, we're going to fold out. And you'll see it gives us something that looks like an open box. Okay, so all my little folds are done. Again, if you feel more comfortable, use your bone folder to crease those down. I'm going to take a little bit of 1/8" score tape, and if I can find the end here, because you know it's never where I want it to be. Here we go. I'm going to take a short piece of that and put it just on the end tab. That's the only place that needs it. Then I'm going to lay my box down. First flap, fold it in like that. You can see my score tape. I'm going to burnish it down a little bit just so that it sticks. And I'm going to remove the adhesive. And then I'm going to fold my other side in. And again, I want to keep lines matching, so score lines should match. When they do, I just press down, and guess what? I made a box. It's so simple. So again, these flaps go down, kind of reminds you of an open box, which it's supposed to. These flaps will eventually fold and adhere to your card. So the next thing we're going to do is actually install this on the card, and it's so easy. So I've got my card creased in the center. I want to be sure that I can find that center because it helps me to place the box. The back is, excuse me while I get that out of my way. You can see the back easier from the inside. The back is here where the seam is. I don't know if you can see it there. I think it's close enough that you can see. But in any event, I just want to fold these triangles out. And I'm going to take my tape runner and add adhesive. Oops. The door won't stay open today for some reason. You want to be generous with the adhesive because this is what's holding your box in place, okay? So cover both sides of those flaps. Again, being mindful that my box is there at the back. I'm going to line up these seams and folds on the box with the fold on the card. And then reach inside and press into place. So hopefully you can see that. Yes, it's lifting up a little, and yes, that's all right. Here I'm going to go back and I'm going to just push down these open sides a little bit more because when I close the card, I don't necessarily want those getting caught in. Now I'm just going to fold my card together. As I told you, you want to be a little bit careful in the first couple of foldings to make sure and push those flaps down so they stay down the way they're supposed to. And then just close your card and kind of push everything into place. And you've got your basic box installed. I did it upside down, but it's all good. There's really no rights or wrongs to it. You can install it up here. You can install it down a little bit further. When it folds in, you can see it pretty much stays in position. So you kind of know, stay away from the top and bottom edge too close, but otherwise you're doing okay. Now I told you about these little pieces. These little pieces you use as supports and to add items to the box. So you just want tape runner on the tabs that we folded in. Actually, I'm going to push this one way to the back because I want to also install the other one so you can see how the things that you put in would be differently positioned based on what you used. So again, this will be just fine. I'm watching my flaps again. They're annoying me. And you may find it easier at some point to partially tack down those just so the recipient doesn't have any problems either. But your support's in place. If I wanted to put my banner on, here are my two goalposts for the banner. I'm going to go ahead and install them on that strip first. Again, very easily done. I'm going to add the adhesive and stick it on. Sorry, I hid the other one on myself. Same thing on the other side. And it doesn't matter if they're exactly straight or not, or if they're exactly even or not, because when you put your banner on, you can fix it. It's not really a big deal. Then I can take some tape runner, add it to the top of those posts. And put my banner into place. Now, obviously, you'd want to decorate that banner first because, oops, it's not very straight, not very centered, really. You can't decorate it once it's installed, but again, I'm trying to show you basics, not decorated card. We'll see that when we get to the bunny. So super, super easy. That's ready to go. Your banner could face that way. You could install it on the other side so it faces this way. You have lots of choices. Now, if you use this longer support post, and by the way, you could use 2 or 3 of those if you wanted to put in, for example, a lot of balloons and streamers and that sort of thing. There's just a lot of choices. This, I don't know if it's going to exactly fit in because it's kind of tight fit with the other one already in, but you've got all your folds in place. You've got adhesive on the tabs. Set it into place, and then it, oops, hang on. This should go on the other side. It should not go on the same side. Sorry. It's all there. It folds down and into place. And here we go with box flaps again. So lots and lots of ways that you can do it. Let me go ahead and all it does is change the orientation of the things that are on here. Let me take this one out and you'll be able to see more clearly how that other one works. It's really hard to install the 2 different kinds together. Oops. Yeah, because I ended up with an extra crease in there, which I didn't want. So kind of one right here and one right here, but it changes the way. Too many flaps. That the banner orients. So if I take my banner off my old tab now and try and install it on here, it's just going to come at a different angle, which is just fine and sometimes will be preferable. So again, you can do layers of these things. You can put 2 or 3 in to add more stuff. You can use these little goalposts to mount anything that you need to mount, like the curly cues don't need anything. You just stick one end to it and you'd be all set. So let me set this aside. I'm going to show you in a little more detail a couple of cards that I did with that. First, the frogs. You saw the cute froggy box, and he's very cute as a dimensional creature. Here we've got him popping up in this card. So main things to watch on him are his precious little feet, because they want to smash a little bit easy. So you just have to take your time. You can't really mount them to the bottom of the card, because that will create an issue. What I do when I'm making these cards is I put my front cover pattern paper on first. I usually put something on the inside. Here I chose this kind of teal speckled paper because frog you would usually find in a pond, and that was closest to a pond color that I could find. You could leave it plain if you wanted, but I'm not sure it's as cute. But whatever pattern paper you find that you like will work in there. When I make the box, I try and decorate it as much as possible before I install it. Because once you get them installed here, it's really hard to put things on the box properly. If you can imagine trying to get these little front feet into place, it's really, really kind of difficult. But in any event, I use several different lawn fawns to make this work. I've got the sentiments that came here. Congrats on your new pad. And totally awesome came from here. Of course, I used all the dies with the mini pop-up box, and I used the tiny gift box frog. Lots and lots of fun going on there. The next one I used the little spring chick box. I originally thought these would be fun for Easter cards, but it's a little close to Easter, so it's kind of hard to show that. So I tried to make them more generic. I kept my fronts super simple. You could decorate as much as you want on the front. There's no problem with that. I like the idea of keeping it simple so that, you know, the recipient is surprised when they open up, maybe a little misdirected. That's always good. So for my shells here on the cover, I used this chick set die from Impression Obsession. Those are pretty new to the shop, so you'll want to check that out. And then we open it up, and here's our chick. I didn't stick down very well. Now, my challenge with the chick was his little feet down here, which don't want to fold well, and then his wings too. This is really heavyweight yellow cardstock, and so it's hard to get it to fold. But you can see another thing here. I don't have to have a banner popping up. I don't have to have a support beam here. I just need to put it in the box and go with it. So I used, this is paper from the Remix spring plaids that were issued. This is the 6x6 plaid. The inside is the whiter side of the green speckle paper. Again, I thought if you find the chick is probably going to be in the grass. You can use something stronger to adhere the boxes, and I might have to do that with the chick because the paper, again, is really, really heavyweight and it's just fighting me. But if you open it flat, he will open all the way and he'll stay down like he's supposed to. So what else did I use here? The Just Peepin' In flag is from an old poppy stamp set, probably not available. So please don't go ask Melissa for it because you probably can't find it. They retire things, I think, awfully quickly. My Sentiment Just Peepin' In is from the Squishy Hug set. This is a couple of years old, but I just can't get enough of it. I love the Just Peepin' In. It would be great. You're one of my favorite peeps. If I was doing the bunny here, I love No Bunny But You. There's so many fun things. You might have this if you got this die set. Was released at the same time, Block Party Bunnies. And it has the faces and bow ties and tails, so you could either do front or back bunnies with it. So again, a super simple card to do. This box is pretty straightforward. The chick it's also a chick and a duck. I chose to make it with the wings that fold in. There's a die that lets you keep him partially in the shell. If you choose to do that, you don't need any arms or feet or anything. Here's the duck with an umbrella die that's also included. You can see he has a totally different beak and he has a whole different set of feet. So they look at the little details. That's why you'll see a lot of little pieces on front and think, I don't know how I'm going to use all those. But the truth is, you don't have to, and you don't want to in a lot of cases. So that's the chick card and what I used to make it. Now let's look at the bunny. We're going to do the bunny from start to finish. The only thing that I've done here is start out the card. So I prepped my card base by adding the paper on the front and then on the inside. And on the inside is the darker side of the green speckle paper. I love this paper. I'm grateful that it's going to be a staple with Lawn Fawn now. It's kind of like the pattern paper that doesn't have a pattern, so it kind of skates by as a solid. It's really fun to use with stuff. So my card base is ready to go. Here's my bunny die. Because I'm installing the pop-up box, I can't use the guy with the feet, or the standing guy, because those feet don't bend. I suppose you probably could, but there's feet to work with the other guy, and there's little hands that you can give him, so you don't have to go there. I think it's just a better choice to not use the sitting bunny, or to use the sitting bunny instead of using the standing guy. I'm going to pull out some of these other things that I used and set them aside because we'll get back to those in just a moment. There's our box. And you probably have seen already there's something different about the box. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Trying to get all my extra pieces out. And I think we're good now. So I'm just going to kind of lay everything out so I know what's what and who's who. That's one of the hardest things about this. Once you get everything cut, you want to have something like the envelope or something where you can wrangle everything together, because otherwise they are smaller pieces and pretty easy to lose. So here's my little box inserts if I want to use them. I cut. My thought on this was that this kind of mimicked grass, and that's where you'd find a bunny is sitting in the grass. So I cut some of the little celebration things here, the little squigglies, out of green, thinking they could represent grass tendrils. And so we'll use those inside the box for decoration. So this will be an even more decorated box than what you've seen before. But again, a pretty plain card for the most part. I've got my stabilizer pieces for my banner. I don't know where my other one went here. Sorry, guys. But I have another one, so it's not a problem. Banner's here and ready to go. I've got 2 bunny feet, a right and a left. I've got a carrot for him to hold on to. I've got a couple of different options for a tail, and so I'm good to go here. So first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and do my front, and I've decided to keep it plain and simple. I'm just going to put Easter wishes on the front. And what in the world? Here we go. Like, what did I do with my tape runner? So that's all I really intend to do. Of course, you could add to it. You know, you do what you're comfortable with. Now, here's our box die. It looks a little bit different than the one we started with. And all that I've really done is trim those flaps off. If you're making a character, you don't want those flaps hanging to the outside because a bunny doesn't come in a box, essentially. So trim them off. I use the paper trimmer. You could use your scissors. There's a really clear score line that you could, cut along, so it's not a problem. So we have even a simpler box to work with. Once again, I'm going to fold right on down the line. Trying to keep it square with all my folds, because that'll give me a square box, which is exactly what I want. And my last piece is this little tab. Then I'm going to go ahead and fold in my triangles. Sorry, you can't see much through my hands, but it's pretty straightforward. So that's where we're at right now. I want to take a little bit of the 1/8 inch score tape and add it to my tab here. There's only one tab, so there's no confusion about which one to add it to. Maybe just a little too much score tape. Go ahead and peel it off. Then I'm going to set my box down. Fold that part in. Get the triangle out of my way. And I'm going to fold the other side again, being careful to make sure that my score lines and tops and bottoms match up okay. And there's my box. I overshot it a little bit. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and redo it because I don't want it to end up wonky on the card. So there we go. There's our box. Again, seam to the back. We'll go ahead and add tape runner to our flaps. And just sort of pop those in a little bit. I'm going to verify my back is in the back. And I'm going to set this down. And sorry, it's just kind of hard to see between the camera, the lights, and everything else. Wine. Make sure my fold hits the fold, because that's the important part here. Now my triangle should not be way over to the side. It should be pretty much sitting on the fold. So I'm going to pick it up, and again, I should match a little better than I did with that pink one. Set everything down. Now I did not decorate this one to start out with, and it'll be okay. Again, it may be just easier to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and fold and just push that into place. And we've got the start of it. Now let's go ahead and build our bunny. I'm going to go just a little bit fancier on this than I did on the other one. When you cut the bunny, because you have choices in how to do it, with the arms in front, like this guy that's holding the carrot, or with the arms down for this guy who's on all fours. There's a little tiny piece. I'll show you what it looks like here, because I think it's sitting right at the side. This little piece right here, once I've cut my head out, I end up with something plain like this. In order to get those arms, I'm going to place this over top of the cut piece and run it through the machine again, and that's going to cut my arms. So this flat part goes to the top, this part goes to the bottom. You want to make sure you're neither at the entire edge on either side or the bottom, and try and keep them as even as possible. Really, nobody's going to check. It's going to be fine. But that's how they deal with arms and optional arms, those sorts of issues. So I'm going to take my real front piece, the one that has arms, because I need to use those. And I'm going to go ahead and do the things that I need to do to decorate it. Typically, this one is left with open ears. We talked about that when I showed you how to build the hedgehog box in another video. But this one, I want to have a pink insert in there, because I think that's the way the bunny would be. So I'm just going to flip him over. All I did was whack off a couple of pieces of pink cardstock. I'm going to put a little glue at the top and the bottom of the ear opening. And I'm going to set those in place and cover the hole. Now when I look at it from the other side, I should only see pink in the center there. I shouldn't see it anywhere else. And the same thing on this other side. This looks a little wider to me, so I'm going to find my scissors here. Cut off a little from the side, and then go ahead and push this into place too. Doesn't matter, I'm not straight. It doesn't matter, I don't have exact fits, because I'm going to fix that in a minute. So that gives me the pink ears. Now I've got the same thing that I did before. I've got a black piece that I cut out that's going to cover those eyes and nose, and we might as well get it on the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little glue. I don't want to glue around my hands, so watch that. You don't want to glue those in place. Just kind of go around the eyes and on top of the nose. Put your black piece in place. And then check the front real quick and make sure he's got the right face, you know, that everything's showing and you didn't inadvertently leave a gap. I'm going to go ahead and put little cheeks on this guy. Again, a lot of times I don't It's just such a personal decision, what you're doing. And for me, it's about who I'm doing it for. I'll do nicer things for people and more complete things for people who I know appreciate the handmade work. If somebody doesn't care, I kind of don't care either about wasting that extra time. I don't know how you feel about that. Some people just like to make things as complete as possible, even though they know that trash is probably where it's going to end up. So hard to know. So there's one cheek. And here's two. Again, if you have a pickup tool or something like that, that may be a little bit easier to grab them. Oops. But looky, he's cuter already. So what I did in this case, because I wanted those pink ears and I didn't want the open hole, was I cut another face. And I'm just going to put it behind. It's going to cover all of that up. This part is never going to show, so he's not going to have two faces or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this. Again, watching out for my arms. I do not want to glue those down. So I can do the edges, but I can't get anywhere near the center there on the arm. I am a really sloppy gluer, sorry. Some days are worse than others. And then we'll go ahead and set the second face in place. And you can see it just kind of gives a nice finished result. Mostly what's going to show here is the ears. Oops, you probably don't want pink on the back. I guess I should have addressed that, but I didn't. So we'll pretend I did, and you'll do it right when you do yours. He needs a carrot to hold on to because we're not going to starve this poor baby. They give you a carrot die with this. It's actually 2 pieces. So one piece you just cut entirely of green. It'll give you the tops and everything. The other of orange, you paste one on top of the other, and voila, you have a proper carrot. They kind of think of everything, and I really do appreciate that. I certainly could have cut the green piece twice, one out of green and one out of orange, but it's just so nice to not have to. And my carrot's ready to go. I can slip that in his little hand, either one of them. I don't want to cover his face too much. Let's see what we can do. Maybe slide it down like that, and he'll be in good shape. So again, this is going to be the front of my box. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add glue and put the face in place. Come on, baby. Remember, you don't want to extend past the bottom, because if you do that, your card won't open right. So I'm just going to slide my carrot up just a little bit so it stays away from the bottom. You'll see it's fighting me a little bit here, so it would have been better to decorate in advance. I got ahead of myself, sorry. I've got some hind legs for it, so I'm going to go ahead and glue those into place. Those are pretty straightforward. The toes are always going to point forward. And usually the foot itself matches up with the back of the box, not the front. Boy, that's crooked. So there's one foot. And here's 2. And when they have something like feet or something like that that's directional, I love that they give us both directions, so I don't have to worry about cutting one facing one way and one facing the other. They just automatically come out right for me. so there's my other back leg going into place. I made his tail pink because I made his tail pink. He's like a pink-tailed cottontail. And I'm going to have it rise a little bit above. No, I think I'm going to center it on the back. It doesn't really matter. You can kind of do as you want here. So there it goes. I thought about using a pom-pom. Probably won't work for the pop-up box just because the card has to close. I want to put my sentiment in. I chose Happy Spring. It is from this Tailored Expressions set, which is called Tag Team Easter, and I believe that's in stock right now. The little butterflies on either end of my banner are the little butterflies from this Avery L stamp and die set, which is called Easter Chicks. It's so much fun. I don't think it shows, but I used one of the Nuvo glitter gloss markers to make the butterflies sparkly, and they turned out really, really cute. So check out the card when you're in this store. It's a wavy banner, so it's kind of hard to make anything on it straight, but I figure there's wind, who cares, right? I'm going to use the straight piece because I want my Happy Spring to rise up straight from the bunny. And so I'll just fold the two tabs in, add some tape runner to them. And put this into place. I'm only going to use the one support. It doesn't really matter where it goes. Again, that's by choice. Sometimes you want to place something in a specific area for some reason, and that's fine. I've got it coming closer to the front. I'll show you that, and I can see now it's not very straight. So let me just straighten this out a little bit. Again, I could add a second one if I thought it made sense, if I wanted to layer some things in there. But I really just have the banner and some curly cues, and I think I'll be fine with those. So here is my tape runner on the supports. And I'll go ahead and add tape runner to the top of those as well so I can pop that banner on. Try and center it this time. Sometimes it's so hard to see, but I like using the tape runner because you have the ability to pick it and move it. Definitely think about your colors. White was probably a poor color choice for my banner because it blends into the bunny too much. But, you know, use what you think works. The support inside, it doesn't matter. People will see it. It can match your box. It can be different. Not a problem either way. Let's add some of these little curly cues. Again, my thought is they kind of look like grass. And spring, maybe some little flowers at the top would be fun. There's just endless choices and possibilities at how you might decorate this. And by the way, you don't have to use lawn fawn with it either. You can use anybody's anything. So again, I think a happy birthday box would be so much fun, just loaded with balloons. Here we go. One more. Not sure exactly where I want this to go. Maybe I'll just leave that off and leave it at 3. Sometimes it's better to use the odd numbers as opposed to the even, but I could keep going and filling up that box if I wanted to with fun stuff. I could add a couple of banners. I could, have one higher than the other. I could step those through. There's 1.5 million things you could do to decorate. But, again, how fun is this? You see all of the parts of the bunny. Too cute. When I close, I'm just going to watch what's going on. This one doesn't have too many bad pieces that I have to watch. There's no feet that stick out or anything like that. So it's pretty easy to just fold it over and press it down to secure everything. I don't know about postage. I haven't really mailed any of these yet, so I'm not sure whether there would be additional charges. I kind of think you might have to use at least some extra postage because of the thickness, because you do have a fair amount of cardstock going on here. Maybe stencils would be better for the inside than cardstock. But the box itself has a lot of layers and a lot of that sort of thing, so it may cause too much weight, too much bulk. I don't know. I don't think the post office is particularly consistent about that at this point in time. So definitely check out this mini pop-up box die at Bayer's. It is so much fun to use. You don't have to use it with Lawn Fawn, but certainly all the little character dies that we've used with the tiny gift box would be perfect on the inside. And you will just absolutely make someone's day if you make them a card like this. This time, COVID time, has been hard on all of us. And I think just to put a smile on somebody's face, send them a little surprise through the mail, it's just priceless right now. So this is an easy way of doing it. It's a versatile die. You can use it with just about anything. It's up to your imagination what you might want to try. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about this or assembly of the little critter boxes or anything else, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Let Melissa know. She'll let me know if there's something I need to do to clarify or whatever. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.